Good tea. So, earlier this year, Jacob Collier released Djesse Volume 4, which is the fourth installment in a series of albums called Djesse, Volumes 1, 2, 3, and 4. And it was released to mixed reception. I don't really need to get into that. Andy Chamberlain made a great video on it that I watched this morning and inspired me to actually sit down and make this, which I've been thinking about making this video for a while, but his video, which I'll link in the description below, was pretty good, and I had some free time today, so here we are. Today I'm going to be listening to every single Djesse track except for the recent additions to the Djesse Volume 4, the deluxe edition, because I haven't really listened to those that much, so I don't feel like I can fairly rank them. Yeah, we're going to be tier listing every other Djesse track. Couple disclaimers, I guess. I'm going to be ranking them based on my opinion, so if you disagree, that's okay. Yell about it in the comments. It's good for engagement. I'm also going to be ranking them based on like the scale of Jacob's music. So like if I was just ranking them or tier listing them based on like all music in existence, most of them would be like A's, B's, and S's, and they'd all be up at the top of the chart, but that wouldn't make for very interesting placement. So I'm going to be ranking them based on like the highs and lows of Jacob's music, which I adore. So that means they'll be a little bit more spread out. There will be a few in the F category. That doesn't mean they're bad and I dislike them, because in consideration of music as a whole, I do like them. Just in terms of Jacob's music alone, I dislike them. We're going to be doing it in order of the albums, starting with Djesse Volume 1. Let's jump into it. So let's start off with Home Is. This is a classic. I love this one. I love Voces 8, the collaborator on this track. I love choral music. I love straight tone choral music. I love microtonal key changes, which he does use one of those in this one. It's just a great way to introduce Djesse. I just spilled tea all over myself. I forgot how full this mug still is. I'm not going to bother changing. That's too much work. I'm just going to have tea on my shirt. I don't know if I want to put this in S or A. That's my debate right now. Home is it an S or an A? I think it's an A because, I don't know, I guess it just doesn't have enough Jacob in it. I think he does add some of his voice to it and some other instruments as well. I don't know, I feel like it just doesn't quite have enough, I don't know. It's hard to, like, I want to say that it doesn't have enough, like, other instruments. But if it had other instruments, then it wouldn't be Home Is, you know? It's like, it's a choral piece. For what it is, it's an S, but in context of all of Djesse, I'm going to say A. Overture. I love this one. I love orchestral music. The orchestral music in this track, however, is a bit, I don't know if cliche isn't really the right word. It's just like, it feels like an American West animated kids movie from the 90s or maybe 80s. I don't know. It just has the sound to it that I don't absolutely love. I'm going to say B. Another thing about Overture is it uses this 12-tone row that I expected to show up in the rest of Djesse, and I don't think it ever reappears, which is kind of sad. All right. With the Love of My Heart, I absolutely love. It is one of my favorites from Jacob. I don't think there's anywhere I can rank it other than S. It's just so good. It's got so much going for it. It's got so many different genres playing into it that they all kind of flow in and out of each other. It's got some very like tender moments at the end. I just love it. There's nowhere I could not live with myself if I put it anywhere other than S. Let's move on. Ocean Wide, Canyon Deep. I love this one. You know, I initially put Overture in B. I think in terms of Jacob music, it belongs in C for me. It just doesn't offer that much to me. And the reason I say that now is because I think Ocean Wide, Canyon Deep belongs in B. And I don't think these two are similar enough to be in the same tier. All right, Djesse, the title track of the entire 4-album project, is honestly a little disappointing because it's the title track of the entire 4-album project. I don't think it represents the 4 albums well. I mean, obviously, he couldn't have known when making the first track or first album what the other ones would sound like, but I still feel like it's like only orchestral, and I feel like it could be so much more than that. It's fine. I enjoy it. I think it's on the same level as Overture, so I'm going to put it in C. All right, Everlasting Motion. This one's a lot of fun. I really enjoy this one, especially the moment toward the end that utilizes an increase in tempo really well. I feel like not enough songs utilize that. I really love this song for that. Yeah, this one's so much fun. It's going in B. All right, Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic. There was a couple day period where I just listened to this one on repeat because I loved it so much. At this point, it's just okay for me, dog. I think it belongs in C. Once You. Oh, I do love this one. Yeah, I love this one a lot. It's not quite S tier, but it's definitely A. All Night Long, on the other hand, is definitely S. This is another one of my absolute favorites from Jacob. It's just got so much going on. I think it does that like intentional maximalism thing really, really well. It's got take 6. It's got the orchestra. It's got everything. It's just, I love this one so much. Yep, All Night Long is definitely an S. All right, intro to Volume 2. I'm gonna have to listen to like all of this one to figure out where it actually starts and ends, because I can never remember like where the split is between intro and Sky Above. They just kind of melt into one track in my mind. I think it's a phenomenal intro for Volume 2, but that's about all it is. I enjoy it. It does a really good job of its job, but in terms of all Jacob music, it's hard to say between B and C. I'm going to say C. Sky Above, on the other hand, I really love. It's nice and tender. A really good representation of the quieter moments of Djesse Volume 2. Sky Above, I think, is an A for me. I really love it. Bakumbe, the one with a jump scare. This one's pretty good. I enjoy it. I'm going to say it's on the same level as Ocean Wide, Canyon Deep, Everlasting Motion. It's going in B. Make Me Cry is another classic. Another thing I should say is I'm not really ranking them like in the tier, whether they're better or worse than the ones in the same tier. I'm just broad category of the tier. So I do think it's in the same tier as Sky Above. I can't really decide which one I like more, though. All right, Moon River. What an absolute classic. I still hold this one in my mind as Jacob Collier's kind of masterpiece, magnum opus. I'm not sure he will ever create an a cappella track that tops this one in my mind. Like, it's so good. I became a fan of Jacob in late 2019, which was after Volume 2 dropped, I think. Actually, let's check that real quick. Yeah, so Djesse Volume 2 was dropped in July of 2019. I became a fan of him in like the fall of 2019. So Djesse Volume 2 was still pretty fresh, but I didn't really understand his albums at that point. Like, I hadn't really listened to all of them all the way through, and I hadn't really like researched what they were and the reason he made them. But yeah, Moon River is definitely an S in my mind. It's just so good. The fact that he made it in like a week is just mind-blowing. Moving on to Feel. I love this one. I'm trying to decide between A and B. I think it's going to go in B. It's not quite on the level as our current A tier tracks. A Noite. I don't actually know how to pronounce this one, but I say A Noite. It's really not its own track. It's more of an intro to Lua, but it is also kind of its own track because it doesn't really sound like the rest of Lua. It's just like a string quintet, I think. I love it. It's nice. Kind of deciding between B and C. I think it's going to go in B. Honestly, it kind of surprises me, but looking at the ones we've got here, I think it belongs in B. Lua, featuring Maro. I love Maro's voice. She has such a great tone. This one I honestly think is an A. I love like the kind of bossa nova style it's got going on. Yeah, I love Lua. I Heard You Singing. This one I actually have an arrangement of on my main channel, which I'll link in the description if I remember to. I really enjoy this one. You'd think because it's the only Jacob Collier song I have an arrangement of that it'd be my favorite, but it really isn't. The only reason I made that arrangement is because I thought I had something to add to it, and that was the canon idea of like canonizing melody. There's not really much more to it than that. I enjoy it though. I'd say it's a B tier for me. It Don't Matter. This one's kind of fun but it's not really anything special in my mind. Yeah, I'm going to say it's a C. I really love that section at the end with the really low bass, but all in all, C. Here Comes the Sun featuring Dodie. I love this one. It's not quite A tier, I don't think. It's definitely at least B. Actually, I think it is just barely A tier for me, looking at the ones we've currently got on in here. All right, Dun Dun Ba Ba, also known as the greatest song ever created. Only a small fraction of you guys will understand that joke. I actually do kind of love Dun Dun Ba Ba. I know it gets a lot of flack. I do actually genuinely love Dun Dun Ba Ba. It's not like A tier. It might not even be B tier, but it's definitely at least a C tier for me. I love singing along with it. Nebaluyo. I do love Nebaluyo. That's a lot of fun. I'm going to say it's a B tier. Do You Feel Love? The one that's often joked does not belong on this album. And I almost agree, but I've listened to this album so much as a whole that it's just part of the fabric of the album to me at this point. I love this one. Honestly, almost an A tier, but I think it belongs in B. Outro is just kind of a continuation of Do You Feel Love? And I think it does a good job of ending Djesse Volume 2 for that. I'm going to put it right next to Do You Feel Love in B. Time to Rest Your Weary Head, a bonus track, if you will, but an incredible one. If I understand correctly, this track has, the song has 3 tracks in the project file, a vocal mic, a guitar mic, and then a room mic. The room mic might be stereo, but it's very simple in terms of Jacobian standards, but I love it. And as I was at the 2022 Minneapolis Jacob Collier concert, I heard the first ever live performance of it, and that was pretty special. I love this song. I'm going to put it in A tier. All right, time for Djesse Volume 3, beginning with Clarity, which might be the shortest track in all of Djesse. It's only, how long is it? 52 seconds. I don't think anything else is quite that short. Truly an intro track, if there ever was one. A mishmash of a lot of different ideas, and I think it works pretty well, but it's just kind of an intro track. I think it belongs in C with the other intro track. Count the People is pretty fun. That's about it. I do enjoy this one. At some point, I had the raps memorized, but now I don't think I could do them as well as I used to. Count the People. It's okay. I'm going to put it in C. In My Bones. In My Bones is really fun. Can't decide if it's C or B. Honestly, I think it belongs in B. It's just so much fun to sing along with. Here's the thing about Djesse Volume 3. I don't love it as much as Djesse Volume 1 and 2, but I listened to it so much because it's so short. So it's like easy to listen to. And it was the most recent Jacob Collier music for like 4 years almost before Djesse Volume 4 came out. So it's like it was the latest thing to listen to. And so I listened to it a whole bunch. So with that being said, Time Alone with You. I do really enjoy this one. It's at least a B. Honestly, if it included all of the horn stuff that is in the original YouTube music video version, then it would be an A. But because the album version took all that out, I have to knock it down to a B. All I Need. This one I feel like is very overhyped. It's definitely a very like pop R&B song, and it's fine. I heard somebody describe it when it first dropped as it sounds like a star exploding. I'm like, what, really? It sounds so chill to me. What do you mean star exploding? It's always been just okay to me. I enjoy singing along with it. Honestly, I can't decide if it's our first D or if it's in C. I do enjoy singing along with it quite a bit though, so I'm going to say it's a C tier. In Too Deep. This one's pretty cool, especially with the like polymetric, polyrhythmic stuff at the end, but it's just kind of okay. I'm going to say C tier. All right, Butterflies. This one's really fun. As Andy Chamberlain talked about in his video, this one and Light It Up On Me are kind of what Jacob Collier said that Djesse Volume 3 was going to be like before he started releasing singles. I do love this one. I'm going to say it's a B tier. It's a very different B tier to everything else in here, but I do love it. All right, Sleeping on My Dreams. This one's pretty fun. I love the Logic Session breakdown of this one, where he like reveals all the little bips and bops that are hidden in the background. Gives a much greater appreciation for this song for me. I can't put it in A, but I think it does belong in B. Running Out of Love. This one kind of feels like a spiritual successor to Feel, sort of. I do love Tori Kelly. It's not quite A, but it is definitely a B. Light it up on me. Yeah, this is just like Butterflies to me. It's a B tier. He Won't Hold You. Oh, I love this one so much. So much so that I almost wish that it was the end of the album and that Two Sleep didn't exist. But I love Two Sleep too much to really believe that. He Won't Hold You is a definite A tier for me. The first A tier of Djesse Volume 3. I love this one so much. To Sleep, like I said, I love To Sleep, both the song and the act. Some people on the Hideaway Discord server really don't like this one, and I don't understand why. I really enjoy it. I'm going to say it's a B tier. All right, we're already at Djesse Volume 4. This is going a lot faster than I thought. 100,000 Voices. I do really love this one. I feel like it does a good job of introducing Volume 4, and listening to it for the first time on the night of its release very loudly on my studio speakers was an incredible experience. Yeah, it's not quite A, but it is definitely a B. She Put Sunshine. This was really fun. The Andy Chamberlain comment about this being a very good Owl City song is really funny. I think I definitely like it more than he does, but that's okay. Yeah, this is definitely a B, right along with 100,000 Voices. Little Blue is fine. I do wish that the little section at the end led into another section of the song rather than just being the end of the song. Like, I feel like it's leading somewhere and then it just doesn't go anywhere. It's fine. I'm debating between C and B. Honestly, looking at all the stuff that's in C, honestly, it might even be a D for me. No, I do like it. It's a C. Well, I do love this one. It's really fun to sing along with. I also love Remy Wolf, who is an uncredited collaborator. Well, is a B for me. Cinnamon Crush, also a spiritual successor to Feel. There's a lot of those. Whew. That groove is really nice. B is a very popular tier for me, apparently. I can't decide between C and B. I'm gonna say C. It's just not quite as good as the B ones. Wherever I Go, I'm with Andy Chamberlain on this. I wish they did a lot more with it. It just doesn't really feel enough Jacob. It's fun, though. It's almost as low as a D, but I think it belongs in C. Summer Rain. I do love Madison Cunningham and Chris Thiele. I don't remember how to pronounce his name. It's another Djesse Volume 4 one that just does not really feel like Jacob to me. I think it's just barely enough to be a C. A Rock Somewhere, however, this one I really do not like. In terms of Jacob Collier music, I really don't like this. In terms of just like music in general, it's probably like a B or even probably not an A. But yeah, it just doesn't feel like Jacob to me. It just feels like, I don't know. It just does not feel like Jacob. It's fine, but it's definitely our first D. It's almost an F in terms of Jacobian music. Honestly, I think it is. I think in terms of Jacob Collier music, it's an F for me. I just don't like it. Mi Corazon, however, is pretty fun. I wish there's more Jacob to it, but it's still pretty fun. Honestly, it might be our first D. I still really enjoy it. Like, in terms of just music in general, it'd definitely be a solid B, but in terms of Jacob music, it's just not enough Jacob. Witness Me. I hadn't really thought a lot about this one until Andy Chamberlain's video this morning. I don't think it didn't come out this morning, but I watched it this morning, and he really made a good case for how terrible this song is in terms of Jacob Collier music. For me, it's between D and F. Yeah, it's just not Jacob. It's an F. All right, Never Gonna Be Alone. This one is fine. The John Mayer solo is a little disappointing, and I honestly love the remix more than the original. I'm trying to think of who did the remix. It's like Hone or something. I don't know how to pronounce it. Let's see. Never Gonna Be. Where's the like? Yeah. Oh, I guess it's two guys. But Hone. I don't know how to pronounce it. But they made a remix of Never Gonna Be Alone that I actually really, really love, and I enjoy listening to more than the original. It's not quite as bad as these ones, but I don't know, honestly, if the remix hadn't been made, it would probably be a C, but because I enjoy the remix so much more, I'm going to put it in D. It just doesn't compare in my mind. Bridge Over Troubled Water. This one's an interesting one for me. I love it because it's Jacob Collier a cappella, but I feel like it doesn't do enough in terms of microtonal stuff. Like, I really wanted it to be another Moon River and Christmas song where it goes microtonal, but it just doesn't. and that's a little disappointing, but it's still really fun. I love the original video that spawned it. Also, he did some amazing work with Yeba's vocals to actually make it sound like you just have to watch the Logic session breakdown to understand what I'm talking about with her vocals there. I enjoy it. It's fine. I don't love it as much as other people do. Other people just like go crazy over Tori Kelly's runs, and they are pretty amazing. Don't get me wrong. They just don't do that much for me. I'm trying to decide between, yeah, honestly, it's like a C tier to me in terms of Jacobian music. Over You. This one, a lot of old Jacob fans really don't like. I honestly really enjoy this one. It just has so much fun energy to it. I definitely agree with Andy Chamberlain's comments about how like some of these collaborations on Volume 4 just feel like he's collaborating with famous people rather than somebody who can actually bring something to the table. But I just love this one so much. It's just so much fun. I think it's a solid B tier. It's not quite A, but it's up there. I like it a lot. All right, Box of Stars Part 1 and 2. I really disagree with Andy Chamberlain on this one. I think it's like almost as good as Part 2. And in my mind, they're really one piece of music. They're not two parts of the same thing. They're just one piece. And I love it. I might just sit here and listen to the entirety of both of them right now. They're just so good. Rain down on me. Get up off your feet. Get up off your feet. Oh. There's so many collaborators on this one. It's crazy. They almost don't fit, even in this wide format. I love that piano part. The transitions. I love how it jumps around to all these different like genres. I love it so much. I love that part. Get up on your feet. And the string line from, what is that, With the Love in My Heart? Oh, it's so good. That slap bass, oh my goodness. And then he brings back that piano part that I love so much. There it is. It goes so hard. And then the transition into the rest of the track. Bam! Oh, so good. It's got that reference to, what is that piece? Jupiter from the Planets. Oh, bringing back the orchestra from Volume 1. It's just so iconic. There's so many references. It just, like, makes me cry. My favorite bass line ever, literally, from his arrangement of Don't You Worry About a Thing. And then this rhythmic shepherd tone. So good. And this build, oh my gosh. Oh, Steve Vai, oh my gosh. It's such an incredible moment. I was like bawling my eyes out the first time I listened to this. I love that chord. And then a reversal of the beginning of the Djesse project, bringing it all the way back to the first track, Voces 8. That's why in my mind, this is the last track of Djesse. Such an incredible way to end the album. I'm going to pause it before we move on to World O' World. Holy moly. Because I think of these two tracks as a single piece of music, I'm going to tier them together. If I had to think about them as different pieces of music, then only Box of Stars would be going in S tier. But because I think of them as a single piece of music and I refuse to change my ways, they are both going in S tier together. They should just be one thing that just says Box of Stars. That's how I'm thinking about it. What an incredible, honestly, it might be my favorite piece of Jacob music ever. Like, it's so much. I love Jacob's maximalism, and that is just the most maximalist piece of music I've ever heard in my life. And then we get World O' World, what I think of as a bonus track. Once again, I love choral music. I love the Aeolians of Oakwood. I love this piece. I want to make my own recording of it. It's just so good. It is a solid A. It's almost S. It's almost S. It's very close. But I think it belongs in the same tier as the very first track in Jesse's Home Is. I think that's a good poetic thing. It's a great piece. I'm not going to bother ranking these last ones. I literally took the Bridge Over Troubled Water live off of my Djesse playlist because I think it should not be on this. It's a live piece of music. It should be its own thing. I get that it's on the deluxe edition, but still, I don't even like deluxe editions in general. I think they're stupid. Yeah, I just haven't listened to these ones enough to fairly tier list them. They're fun, for sure. Magic is another one of those spiritual successors to feel. Honestly, it's more of a spiritual successor to Time Alone with You. So I'm not even going to bother ranking those. So there they are, I guess. In our F tier, we've got A Rock Somewhere and Witness Me. D tier, we've got Mi Corazon, Never Gonna Be Alone. C tier, we've got Overture, Djesse, Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic. Intro, It Don't Matter, Do Nude Papa. Clarity, Count the People, All I Need, Into Deep, Little Blue, Cinnamon Crush, Wherever I Go. Summer Rain, Bridge Over Troubled Water. And then B tier, the biggest one by far, is Ocean Wide, Canyon Deep, Everlasting Motion, Bakumbe, Feel, Anoite, I Heard You Singing, Nebeluyo, Do You Feel Love, Outro, In My Bones, Time Alone With You, Butterfly, Sleeping on My Dreams, Running Out of Love, Light It Up on Me, To Sleep, 100,000 Voices, She Put Sunshine, Well, and Over You. A tier is Home Is, Once You, Sky Above, Make Me Cry, Lua, Here Comes the Sun, Time to Rest Your Weary Head, He Won't Hold You, and World O' World. And then S tier is With the Love of My Heart, All Night Long, Moon River, and Box of Stars. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm glad that A, B, and C tier all have all 4 albums represented. I think that's fair. No S tiers from Volume 3. It's solid. Like, as you can see, it's not in D or F, but it's just doesn't have any standouts to me. And then the fact that only Volume 4 occupies D and F is pretty telling of how I feel about that album as a whole. It's just not that good. In terms of Jacob albums. In terms of albums in general, I love it. It's amazing. But in terms of Jacob albums, it's definitely the worst. Yeah. Well, that's it, I guess. Let me know if you want me to rank any other tier list, any other Jacob stuff, like his early, not uploaded to Spotify, YouTube music, or in my room or anything. I'd be happy to do that. So just let me know in the comments, and let me know if you disagree or agree with any of these tiers. I'm sure there's no one who was watching this that completely agrees with everything, so let me know. I guess that's it. Soli Deo Gloria.